A day in the life of a student athlete, specifically that of a baseball player at the University of Georgia, has many similarities to that of a normal non-athlete student at UGA, but has many differences as well. As an athlete, my day starts about 6 o'clock in the morning, long before any normal sane student is awake. To roll out of bed with nagging pains and aches from the previous day's practices and activities, I do not have the luxury of lingering over delicious breakfast and coffee as my non-athlete counterparts do. Instead, after showering and struggling to wrap my brain around my schedule for the day, I join the rest of the freshman athletes as we make our way to Rankin for tutoring and academic counseling. I ride off on my scooter in a rush because we are always in a hurry to meet with our mentors at exactly 7 o'clock a.m. Baseball players, beware. If we are a minute past that time, we will be mercilessly punished at practice. So being on time is very important unless you enjoy the wrath of the coaches. At 8 o'clock, after an hour of working with our tutors and talking about how to perform our work and how to improve on future assignments, it is time to rush off and grab a quick breakfast before going to class. Just about now, most of my counterparts in the normal world are stretching and yawning and beginning to rise to meet the day, and I am already 2 or 3 hours into. Classes for a student athlete are totally different than classes for other students. Not because the activities in class are different, because they're not. I'm still held to the same standards as all other students, but they are different because class for me is a nice time to relax from my very hectic day. While other students find class the most grueling time during the day, it is far from the most grueling part of the day for a student athlete. While in class, I'm able to unwind, relax, de-stress, and release the tension and worry about my schedule for the rest of the day. I'm able to take my mind away from the rigors of baseball and pretend that I'm just a regular student at school with no worries other than going to class and making good grades. After morning classes, I have to make my way back to my scooter and take off towards the Coliseum for the lunch which is provided for athletes in the Richard Taylor Room, otherwise known as the training table. The athletic department recommends that we eat the lunch there. The training table is not like the dining halls where other students go for lunch. We get to eat with a nutritionist, every college student's dream lunch date. Forget the pizza, hot dogs, burgers, cookies, cakes, and ice cream that one would like to eat. I'm having broccoli and baked chicken. After our lunch is quickly eaten, it is off to afternoon classes for a few more hours of relaxation and getting mentally prepared for the rest of the day. After class, it is time to go back to our rooms, typically in East Campus Village, to get ready for our workouts. While changing, I am thinking about my counterparts who are watching TV, taking naps, playing video games, or just enjoying hanging out with friends. We then hurry back over to the Coliseum for workouts with the trainers. Workout is just too mild a word to describe what happens there. If you were blind, you would think you were being led to a torture chamber. Over the loud clanging of the weights, you can hear moans and groans and grunts as the athletes strain to meet their goals. As we power through the last of our reps during workouts, it is time to once again start getting mentally prepared for what lies ahead, because our day is just getting started, even though our bodies think otherwise.
I do. I honestly do. But we talking about practice, man. What are we talking about? Practice? We're talking about practice, man.
Practice. That is what we were talking about. Practice, practice, practice. This is when the day really gets started for student athletes. Besides schoolwork, our sport is why student athletes are in school at the university. We have to participate and excel at the sport we are designated to play and must earn our scholarships by being the best that we can. Now this type of practice is not the kind of practice that we think of when we are in high school dreaming of making it to the next level. This practice is basically like training for our jobs and for our livelihoods. These practices are always different and the schedule is always jumbled. That is why mental preparation is key throughout the day prior to going to practice. Practices start, in the case of a baseball player, about 1:30 in the afternoon when hitters start to take warm-up swings in preparation for cage work and hitting drills. We are expected to maintain the abilities we have previously demonstrated and then improve upon something, even if it is a small improvement, every single day. The pressure can be immense, especially if you're having an off week. If you've been following along so far, the day of a student athlete has consisted of studying early in the morning while other students are sleeping, rushing to get some nutrition at breakfast, hurrying to class for the relaxing part of our day, rushing to the Coliseum for a frantic lunch, back to the grind of class, once again going to the Coliseum for our workout, our first practice, and then off to Foley Field for our second practice. So basically, there has been a full day as a student and then 2 practices, and there is still the most demanding part of the day ahead. The third practice of the day, or scrimmage, is a full inter-squad game that we play during the fall between the Dogs, juniors and seniors, and the Pups, freshmen and sophomores. The games take place the same way that a normal baseball game would be played. We play a full game which can last up to 3 hours with live pitching, umpires, and scoreboards. This would be the end of the day for most students, but in the life of a student athlete, there's still much needing to be done. When we are fully exhausted and barely dragging our bodies off the field, we have to go back to Rankin to do what normal students were able to do at their leisure all afternoon: study. We must maintain the standards set for us not only by the university, but also the rules of academics placed on us by the NCAA and the athletic department. We have to take the same tests as our counterparts and also have to meet stringent grade requirements. In order to do so, we have to basically make hours in our day for studying, when most people would have leisure time. After a few hours of studying and staying on top of our work, it is time to make a late night run to the dining hall for one last meal before we are able to go back to our rooms. Finally, late in the evening, around 10 p.m., we make it back to our rooms, have just a little bit of downtime before it is time to crawl into bed and dream of doing it all over again the next day.